Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Fresh Start Show. Early this morning, Dr. Holt is still stuck in Michigan. He did a conference there for trauma resilient schools in his hometown, Flint, Michigan, and he's on his way back. So I'll be here, Tom Cortese. I am the community outreach catalyst at For Tucson, and hopefully I do a little bit of good for Fresh Start every so often. First and foremost, get up, get ready, get some coffee, whatever it is you do in the morning, whatever program it is. I'd rather have some eggs and some bacon and some hash browns and some toast and all of those things. But if it's cereal and all of those sugar-packed things, then come on, get up and listen to what I want to say. And I want to initially start out first and foremost with thanks from Fresh Start, the committee. Thanks to the volunteers from Fresh Start and everybody that helped us put this together. But I want to really thank Lance Meeks and Goodwill of Southern Arizona and the numerous people that they put at our disposal to make this a successful event. This past weekend, the first Fresh Start Empowerment Clinic at Goodwill of Southern Arizona, 1940 Silver Lake. Remember that address because this has become a partnership. And there's going to be another event there in June, a warrant resolution clinic. And hopefully it'll be as successful as this one. And let me go on with this because Goodwill just, they provided all sorts of staff that just went out above and beyond to help everybody that was there. The resources that came, the job people that came, the judges, the attorneys. Just an extraordinary day, and it was set up. It got started early, and the line started early. But and let me go from the front door as we walk through the event, because when you got there and you registered, our friends from Sports Clips, Shaheen and Renee, they came out there and they brought their stylists and people were able to go in there and get haircuts, and I think they did like 30 haircuts, and I mean there were some transformations that happened that day, and every time I went in there it was just smiles throughout the room and wonderful. One of the other things that was right at the entrance of the clinic was Judge Charles Pyle. He does the acupuncture there, and he had his own space to do that, and then people would register and come in, and just I'll post the video to Facebook on my account, because it's very cool when you see all of the people that came out. And I'm not just saying the people that came out to take advantage of the resources and jobs that were there. I'm saying the people that were the resources and the jobs on a Saturday came out. They set up early in the morning. I mean, we started setting up at 7 in the morning. And the people started coming probably about 8, and we weren't supposed to open till 9. So really, really cool. So Sports Clips did at least 30 haircuts there. And DKA came, and I mean they came first thing, and they just bring the racks of clothes, you know, for people to go in there and get a set of clothes to put on, and they give you like 3 sets of clothes. It was just, and you saw people come out of there just smiling because they just scored, you know, and it was, and some of them wearing the stuff that they just got because they were getting ready to go talk to some of the people that were there for. Oh man, Arizona at Work was there. Pima County Workforce Development was there. J3 was there with the firefighters. They had their fire truck there and stuff. It was very, very cool. But we have to thank the courts and the judges that came out on a Saturday. The attorneys, county attorneys, public defenders came out on a Saturday. Andy Silverman from the University of Arizona Law Center and brought some of his students. Came out on a Saturday, and man, they were even happy to be there and enthused and excited about what the day would bring. And then at the end of the day, they were just as excited about what the future would bring. Because we've already planned, into the future, and Dr. Holt has already seen what he wants to see Fresh Start to become in the future. We want the Empowerment Center. We want these empowerment clinics to be at the Empowerment Center. We want Fresh Start to be 365 days a year, and people to have access to it 365 days a year. I mean, we started with 1 day a year at the Tucson Convention Center 3 years ago. And this year we're going to be doing October 21st here in Tucson. But in November, we're going to be doing the first Fresh Start event in Maricopa. And I believe it's in Tempe. I don't have all the dates on that yet, but man, right? We're growing. And the effect that the resources that are made available to people are having is pretty extraordinary. And I can speak to that by my own witness, that Fresh started this past year in October. I went and had a public defender work on my case. And man, it took her about 45 minutes to consolidate all the cases for me to go before a judge in order to get my rights restored. And we set it up and went before a judge. The judge set a court date because there has to be notifications and that type of thing with restoration of rights. And on November 6th, I went to a courtroom in the Superior Court. And after seeing about 6 dudes go before me, getting seal your record, getting fines either squashed, reduced, or set up on manageable payment plans, everything that everybody asked for that went up before me, they got it. And when I went up, I was asking for my rights to be restored. And the judge said, we don't have the paperwork to get your gun rights restored. And I said, I don't want a gun, I want to vote. And she said, well, we can do that. And so this past Saturday, the League of Women Voters came out and they had set up a table because we get people restoration of their voting rights. And the opportunity that they're given by being given their voice back, the League of Women Voters is right there. So people can register to vote, which I did. And we took a bunch of pictures and videos, and I have the form that I filled out, and I'll get my registration card in the mail. She said, I think 3 to 4 weeks. So as soon as I do, I'll be voting in whatever election I'm able to vote in from that point on. And as I continually talk about the state of Arizona having over 200,000 individuals that are disenfranchised from voting rights because they have a felony conviction and because they haven't taken the time to fill out the paperwork and come see us at Fresh Start and get your voting rights back. And you'll find that going through the process, you become more interested in the process. And then when you find out that there are so many of us from backgrounds that have been justice involved, trauma-filled, troubled, filled with addictions and problems that we faced because of those addictions. We always talk about it, that the traumas that we have experienced are the things that we need to deal with most. Because when we start to deal with those things and go back to those times and deal with those times, the habits that we picked up during those times seem to fade away. And the necessity of having them or some type of relief or access to a crutch no longer becomes necessary because we become strong enough, because we use our strengths. Because when we join together, as we did Saturday, with all those people there, and I took videos of dudes that had come out from the courts and how they just believed that their entire life had been changed by the moments that they had just experienced prior. Because they were able to, a gentleman came out and he said over $7,000 in fines. And he said it was life-changing because he couldn't have paid it. He didn't see that it was possible to pay $7,000 in the rest of his lifetime, and to have that type of burden and anxiety and anguish, because it's not just, you don't have just anxiety and depression over that fine, because you're thinking about that fine because you have bills to pay. You have kids that need clothes and food and a home and insurance, and his life was changed. Another individual had just come out, and he got his rights restored, and he didn't even think he wanted them until he got them, and then he was eager to find out how he could use his rights. And part of what Fresh Start does is making sure that every individual that comes through the doors, in whatever it is that they are seeking, and we know that's the most important issue that they have, and they want us to make that our most important issue for them. And we find the people that do make it the most important issue. And we have judges which are just absolutely incredible, who love doing this work because they see somebody who receives a fine reduction, an expungement, a restoration, and they see a burden lifting off of these individuals when this is done, and they get off on it. They enjoy it. They know that it's the system working in the way that it's supposed to work, because we're supposed to restore and reconcile and bring people back into the stead and producing. And some people that, most of the people I've known throughout my life in prison, some of them never had a trade. Some of them never finished school. There's a very high percentage that never worked at a job that they paid Social Security or taxes. We can't go into a system like that and say we have to rehabilitate everybody in here. We have to go into a system like that and find out why it was that they grew up without having the opportunities that everybody else had. And we continually talk about, people of color having lack of opportunity, but there's also a great many people that just live in certain neighborhoods that their opportunities are restricted because of the neighborhood they come from. We know that because of our backgrounds, there's neighborhoods that we can't live in if we have to sign paperwork in order to live in that neighborhood, because there's laws that state somebody with a felony can't live at that place. There's a great many laws concerning residences for people getting out that are still on parole, and who they can live around and where they can live. So we're working on the issues which are restricting people from being successful. But I will tell you that being able to go back into the prisons and tell individuals in the prisons that are being ready to be released that there are people out here that care. And Saturday's event was one of those things that every place you looked, you saw people that cared. And they cared about your outcome. When you went to their table, they were concerned about you leaving there with what you came there seeking. Arizona at Work had like 4 or 5 people there, and it was like individual attention immediately as soon as you went to the table. It was very cool, and we had some new employers out there, Mod Pizza, and I wish I could remember the comics, but it was wonderful having these new people join and being felony-friendly employers, so that people can have a chance to have a future at a job that has a sustainable wage that you can take care of not only you, but your partner and your children, perhaps. And it's really cool. And Dr. Holt has given us a great opportunity, because each person that is helped by Fresh Start, he gives the opportunity to become part of Fresh Start. And for somebody that is traveling around the country constantly to different states and carrying the trauma resilient kids in the schools, and the trauma program and the books that he writes about trauma and its effects, he is still concerned first with Tucson and the foundation that he is building for the program here, and that we will be able to reproduce this model in other cities so that everybody could be affected by this. And if Arizona has 200,000 individuals that are disenfranchised from voting because of felony convictions, I can only imagine what some of these other states with greater populations have, and how much they need Fresh Start, and how eager Dr. Holt is to bring Fresh Start to other cities and other states. Again, we're going to continue doing stuff like this. April 11th, we've been asked to do at the PRC, which is 1275 Star Pass. We've been asked to do a resource and job fair out there. We're going to have probably 20, 30 tables out there of people, maybe some food. I have a commitment from Sports Clips to come out and do haircuts. We're going to cater to the guys that are in the programs inside, and shout out to the guys that are at the PRC in the program. God bless you guys. I went out there and talked to them recently and had a great time out there speaking to them. And they're getting ready to get out and start again and get back on their feet. And Fresh Start's going to be there, and we're going to have some resources there and behavioral health and jobs and housing. So on April 11th, 1275 Star Pass from 10 to 1, we're going to have a resource and a job fair at the PRC. And, you know, any of the resources and any of the people that want to attend, please contact me. You guys have my information. And come on out, because I'll tell you what, these little setups that we are doing throughout the city, at parole, at probation, you know, at Goodwill. Goodwill, there were at least 50 people that got into the courts. There were more than 150 people that came and registered at the front door and came and took advantage of the resources that were inside. And the courts were inside, the acupuncture was inside, Sports Clips and DKA were inside. Everybody else was outside. It was a beautiful day, beautiful day. It was overcast, so we didn't really have to set up too many canopies. There was a nice little breeze, and it didn't rain. So super successful event, especially with all the people that got the help. And please look online to see the videos that I'm going to post of the individuals that received benefits from the courts when they came there. I mean, virtually everybody received benefits from the resources that were at the tables. They were just absolutely incredible, and enthused at doing this and at the turnout that we had for this. So again, in June, we're going to do the warrant event back at Goodwill of Southern Arizona. Lance Meeks and his people are going to help us out and join with us and put on another really nice event, and we'll get the warrants done, and we'll get some jobs out there, resources out there. We didn't have too much on housing this time, but we have a little bit more time this time, so we're gonna have a little bit more of that out there. So again, get your voting rights back, and we can change the system. So in my final 5 or 10 minutes that I have here left, I just really want to thank all of those people that I had previously mentioned for your collaboration, for your efforts to help this be a successful event. It was a successful event, and the opportunities that have come from this for more things and more outreach was incredible too, because every time we get people together that care, we are able to reach more people. And Dr. Holt has given us the opportunity to do that. I'm going to announce a few of my events that are coming up. As always, I have Market on the Move, and it's going to be on the second Saturday of April, which was going to be April 13th. And I have my Connection Cafe, which is at Panera Bread, which is on Broadway right across from Park Mall, at 9 o'clock, first Thursday of the month. It's April 4th. So at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll be there, and resources from around the city and church people and organizations come and talk about their needs. And we try to get people together to see if they can't lock arm in arm and make a difference together. Because it's not how we are able to do this, move this mountain. It's who is able to help us move this mountain. And there are people that are better at doing some things that we are better at. So we get the who, not the how. I don't need to know how to do it. I need to know who is better at doing it than I am, so that I can focus my efforts on the things that I am good at. And what I get to do, I get to go into the prisons. I get to go into the parks. I get to go into the homeless encampments. I get to speak to people about a past that we shouldn't have had. But our future is much brighter if you just grab my hand and let me pull you up and let me introduce you to the people that can make your future brighter. You know, the first thing we have to do is to affect change with the fentanyl in the city. The homeless encampments, I'm telling you, the city is doing a wonderful job at getting people into temporary, transitional, and permanent housing. And the people that I have seen coming off the streets, the opportunity that I have been given to build furniture for the people that are coming off the streets. And a lot of these people that are coming off the streets are people with a justice-involved past, because they couldn't get a place to live, and we had to do this and do that to get ahead, to get there, and it doesn't work that way. And we can never catch up for what we lost, but we can get help getting from right here today to tomorrow. And there's so many people that we work with at Fresh Start that are going to be able to help people into their future, whether it be mental health, whether it be behavioral health, addictive health, you know, whether it be housing, whether it be jobs and the Work Incentive Opportunity Act and the grants that you can get to have a future that has a sustainable wage, that you can have a family. J3, the recruitment they did with the firefighting was wonderful. And guys can make a living doing these segments of doing J3 firefighting and working another job during off seasons. The wonderful opportunities that people are affording to us with justice-involved pasts has been wonderful. And more people are stepping up. And the more that we do it, and the more that we tell people about it, and the more that we show people that we're doing it. You know, Channel 9 did an interview with us before the event, which I know generated a lot of stuff. And thanks to Raina Preciado from Channel 9, a shout out to her, man. She's always concerned about the reentry community and people having a chance to get a foot up and a hand up. And we're there. And she's there, and all these organizations that I thanked previously, they're there, and there's more people signing up and getting on board so that we each could have a fresh start each and every day, because there's something different each day that affects us. And coming out, there are a great many things that affect us, because nothing's the same. The trees have grown, the grass has grown, buildings have been torn down. It looks different. It's not home, but we can make a new home and a different home, because the old one put us where we were. We'll make the new one that puts us in a better place. And let us help you do that. And at Fresh Start, we have opportunities for people to do that, to volunteer, to come and use your lived experience so you can change other lives and come along other men and women who have had this past. And you can help them have a fresh start, because you have done the things necessary for you to have a fresh start. Get your rights restored. Get your things back. Come see us at Fresh Start and have a new beginning. God bless you and have a good day.